Welcome to the Fifth Estate, a conversation between the Third Republic, a group of young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government, and Professor Mutahi Ngunyi. Today we discuss political mergers, and the conversation is built around a book entitled The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene.
In high politics, you don't build consensus through dialogue. Consensus is built through dominance. You dominate people into supporting you, and you dominate people into a consensus position. The purpose for putting together JAP, therefore, was to create a form of dominance, a dominance that leads to consensus regarding the coming election. And it was also about consolidating the hegemony of both Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, and consolidating it into numbers that are completely demonstrable, and numbers that show power. 6.7 million people is what they seem to have brought together under this particular merger. But the second thing that the merger is supposed to do is to disorganize Raila Odinga. You realize that the merger has a candidate, so consensus has already been built. The merger has the numbers, 6.7 million people, but in the case of CORD, the reverse is true. They don't have a candidate yet. The numbers they are working on, including Kalonzo's, Raila's, and Wetangulas, are 5.3 million votes. So if you are a contender, or if you're a community that wants to be in government, the question that this poses is between 6.7 million block and the 5.3 million block, which you're not even sure whether it will collapse or not. Which one would you rather go with?
The period following a successful seduction is full of danger. And this is because after emotions have reached their highest point, they often swing completely in the opposite direction. And you begin to experience mistrust and disappointment. If you're to go your separate ways, make sure the ending is swift and sudden. And if you're to continue in the relationship, beware of a reduction in energy and a creeping familiarity that will spoil the fantasy. Never let the other person take you for granted. Create absence, manufacture pain, and engineer conflict in order to keep the seduced off balance.
Na mheshimiwa naibu rais, utanisamehe, najua kuna kundi liwekwa hapa ya kupiga kelele, hiyo ni shinda yao.
There will be rebellion in JAP, but Uhuru should give it the contempt card. He should concentrate on romancing the Luhya nation and the Kamba nation. After the merger, the next natural and logical thing for JAP to do is to avoid a runoff. In the last election, they avoided a runoff with only 60,000 votes. This time round, they cannot afford that luxury, especially because Raila will reject those particular results and say that the 60,000 votes that cost them to cross the line of 50% plus one, and to avoid a runoff, that 60,000 votes was loaded onto the JAP voting accounts. Now, if that is true, then they must look for an alternative of ensuring that this election is won decisively, it is won convincingly, and that Raila is sent home, if that is the intention, because I think that is the intention, that they send him home in a way that he is unable completely to turn the results of his election around and say that they were rigged. Now, to be able to do so, they have to break into his political residence and lure Kalonzo Musyoka or Moses Wetangula. But you cannot romance the Kambas or the Luhyas by giving them historically insignificant positions, such as leader of majority, something in parliament. Who knows about this? Villagers on the ground, my grandmother don't know who a leader of majority something is, or a governor of Nairobi. Those positions are historically insignificant. In my thinking, lure these particular two communities by giving them position of prime minister. And this position of prime minister can be created through a parliamentary process before the election. Kalonzo has always been in government. He does not know how not to be in government. He stood by Uhuru and Ruto during the ICC trials, doing shuttle diplomacy from one capital to another, to a point of looking ridiculous. He was with Uhuru and Ruto to the very end, but he could not stay because he could not be accommodated. There were only two positions.
Na bado tunasema Kenya ni yetu. Uhuru ni wetu, Ruto ni wetu, Kenya ni yetu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Asanteni, ngoja tukaongee kule, tuko na mambo leo.
Kalonzo is a natural ally to Uhuru and Ruto. Between keeping his 1.2 million votes with Raila and risking losing the election, or taking them to JAP in exchange for a prime minister position, which is better for him? How do you politically seduce a wounded man like him?
Making your targets feel dissatisfied and in need of your attention is important. But if you're too obvious, they will see right through you and grow defensive. There is no defense against suggestion, the art of planting ideas in people's minds by dropping vague hints that take root days later, appearing to them as their own idea. Create a sub-language. Bold statements followed by retraction and apology. Ambiguous comments, dull talk combined with captivating glances. That enters the target's subconscious to convey your real meaning. Make everything suggestive.
If you're too direct early on, you risk raising suspicions that will never go away. At first, you must behave as though you're not seducing anybody. Seduction must begin at an angle. In other words, you must be indirect so that your target becomes aware of you only gradually. You must operate on the edges of your target's life and approach them using a third party if necessary to establish a neutral relationship that allows you to graduate from being a faraway friend into being a close companion. Lull your target into feeling secure, then strike.
If JAP made an attempt, can the soft seduction of Kalonzo Musyoka work? Can he be lured to get back to his natural coalition with Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, this time as Prime Minister? If he does so, JAP will definitely avoid a runoff. How about the neglected, mistreated, and unappreciated Luhya nation? What are the chances there for JAP?
Ye mnemeresha niliunda siku gani? Ye mnemeresha niliunda siku gani? Ye mnemeresha niliunda siku gani? Wale ambao wanaenea siasa kama hiyo ni wapumbavu. Si wapumbavu? Si wapumbavu?
He didn't come. We don't want to speculate because we haven't spoken since. He didn't come. We don't want to speculate because we haven't spoken since.
Raila has taken the Mulembe nation for granted. He treats them with contempt and has no regard for their leaders. But what is his political seduction here? What is his methodology of seduction? Is he being deliberate in his meanness? And what would Robert Greene say about this?
The greatest mistake in seduction is being too nice. At first, your kindness is charming, but it soon becomes boring because you are trying too hard to please. Instead of suffocating your targets with niceness, try causing some discomfort. Make them feel guilty and insecure. Organize a breakup and then reconcile. Make a return to your earlier kindness which will confuse them. The lower the lows you create, the greater the highs. To heighten the political tension, create the excitement of fear.
If Raila is mean to the Mulembe nation out of calculated methodology, how should Uhuru then seduce this nation? What alternative methodology should he use to seduce the Mulembe nation?
A perfectly satisfied person cannot be seduced. Tension and confusion must be instilled in your target's minds. Stir within them feelings of unhappiness and frustration with their circumstances and with themselves. The feelings of inadequacy that you create will give you an opportunity to make them see you as the answer to their problems. Remember that pain and anxiety come before pleasure. Learn to manufacture the need that you can fill.
Once people are aware of your presence and perhaps vaguely fascinated by you, you need to capture their interest before it settles on someone else. Most politicians are too obvious. Instead, be difficult to figure out. Send mixed signals, both tough and tender, both spiritual and earthly, both innocent and cunning. A mix of qualities suggests depth, which fascinates even as it confuses. An elusive, mysterious air will make people want to know more and draw them into your circle.